Before the Sokoto Caliphate, before colonial borders, before Nigeria existed, there stood a kingdom built on iron discipline, fearless warriors, and a tradition of battle. They were the Gobirawa, the warriors of Gobir, known across the Sahel as the Northern Spartans. Their boys were raised for war. Their kings ruled with fire. Their armies shaped the history of the North. This is the forgotten legacy of the Gobir Empire. The origins of Gobir are buried in ancient legends. Some say they descended from nomadic warriors, fleeing the collapse of older kingdoms in the Sahara. Others trace their roots to early Hausa migrations. Their earliest settlements, Tibiri, Saga, Gungu, grew into fortified towns. Slowly, Gobir transformed into a disciplined warrior society. Every drought, every raid, every migration hardened them. Gobir was not born out of peace. It was forged by survival. Among the 7 original Hausa states, Daura, Kano, Katsina, Rano, Zazao, Biram, and Gobir. The kingdom of Gobir was unlike the rest. Kano had commerce. Katsina had scholarship. Zazao had trade in captives. But Gobir had warriors. Their power was built not on wealth, but on the unmatched bravery of their fighting men. In Gobir, being a warrior was not a job. It was identity. Boys were introduced to weapons as early as age 7. They learned to hunt, track animals, and survive alone in the bush. They memorized war chants. They learned their ancestors' victories. They trained for endurance under harsh desert sun. To be Gobirawa was to live ready for battle. Training was strict and unforgiving. Young boys joined warrior camps where instructors drilled them in archery, spear fighting, horseback riding, shield formations, ambush tactics. Their elite unit, the Karfan Gobir, the Iron of Gobir, fought in synchronized formations that reminded scholars of Spartan phalanxes. Every adult male was battle-ready. Every raid sharpened their skills. Gobir's weapon masters forged iron-tipped spears, curved short swords, heavy hardwood shields, and fast cavalry lances. Their strategies included night raids, shield wall formations, horse and foot mixed combat, feigned retreats, guerrilla ambushes. These tactics allowed Gobir to punch far above its size. By the 1600s, Gobir grew from a kingdom into an empire. Its armies controlled routes stretching into modern-day Niger. Traders, farmers, craftsmen, and warriors all paid tribute. Gobir became the northern gatekeeper. No caravan crossed without its approval. Several kings shaped Gobir's destiny. Bawa Jangwarzo, powerful ruler known for fairness. Nafata resisted the rising Fulani influence. Yunfa, the warrior king whose decisions sparked the greatest war in northern history. Tala led Gobir's territorial expansion. Each king strengthened Gobir, or led it closer to conflict. Gobir fought Katsina for control of caravan routes. They fought Zamfara for farmland. They fought Kebi for dominance of the West. Conflict sharpened their blades and their pride. Islam had spread across Hausaland for centuries, but Gobir's rulers feared anything that threatened their authority. This created friction between the palace and the scholars. By the late 1700s, the tension was boiling. Usman Dan Fodio, a Fulani scholar and reformer, preached justice, fairness, and religious discipline. His followers multiplied. The masses loved him. The rulers feared him. Nafata and later Yunfa tried to suppress his movement, but that only ignited a fire. In 1804, Gobir declared war. What followed was one of the most dramatic conflicts in African history. Battles at Tabkinquado, Tsunsua, and the siege of Alkalawa displayed Gobir's courage, but the Fulani had momentum, unity, and religious zeal. The war lasted years. Blood soaked the plains. In 1808, Alkalawa, the mighty capital, fell. The kingdom of Gobir collapsed. But its people did not. Many warriors escaped north and founded new settlements such as Tibiri and Tasawa in modern Niger. Beyond war, Gobir was a living civilization. Inside its fortified cities, daily life followed strict social order. Farmers worked the land outside the walls. Craftsmen forged tools and weapons. Traders negotiated prices in bustling markets, while warriors stood guard at every gate. Gobir cities were built for defense. Thick mud walls, narrow entrances, watchtowers, and inner compounds ensured that no enemy entered unnoticed. Every city was a fortress. Every citizen understood the cost of weakness. The strength of Gobir did not belong to men alone. Gobir women played critical roles in sustaining the warrior society. They farmed, managed households, produced cloth, prepared supplies for campaigns, and raised future warriors. Mothers taught boys discipline before warriors taught them combat. Women preserved oral history, war songs, and clan identity. Without the women of Gobir, the northern Spartans could not exist. Before every campaign, Gobir warriors consulted spiritual guides. Protective charms were prepared. Ancestral prayers were recited. Rituals were performed to ensure courage, unity, and survival. War was not entered lightly. It was sacred duty. Even after Islam spread, older traditions blended with new beliefs, creating a unique spiritual warrior culture that shaped Gobir identity. Gobir did not survive by warfare alone. Marriage alliances, treaties, hostage exchanges, and political diplomacy allowed the kingdom to maintain balance with rival states. But alliances were fragile. Former allies became enemies. Treaties were broken. Trust was rare. In the Sahel, power shifted like desert sand. Gobir's economy was built around survival and strength. Tribute from conquered towns, control of caravan routes, livestock taxation, and spoils of war sustained the state. Warriors were rewarded with land, captives, and prestige. Victory meant survival. Defeat meant extinction. For Gobir, war was not ambition, it was necessity. Gobir warriors were trained to feel no fear. From childhood, pain was normalized. Hunger was endured. Discipline was enforced. Death in battle was honorable. Cowardice was remembered for generations. Stories of fallen heroes were recited by firelight, reminding every warrior of his duty. This mindset made Gobir soldiers terrifying to their enemies. After the fall of Al-Kalawa, Gobir did not vanish. Survivors regrouped. Noble families migrated north. New towns were founded in present-day Niger. They carried their traditions, titles, and warrior pride with them. Empires may fall, cultures endure. Why is Gobir rarely mentioned today? Colonial historians focused on victors, not resistors. Oral traditions were ignored. Written records were lost or dismissed. The Gobir story faded, not because it lacked importance, but because it challenged dominant narratives. Forgotten does not mean insignificant. Today, Gobir descendants live in Nigeria and Niger.